requirements. So you just need to check it daily until it goes active.
And you know, something I used to do, Tina, when I was out in the field full time is I check mine the first thing in the morning, and then usually at the end of the day, right before, and just said, and I always checked with Under Armour, and I always said this, Miss Tina, is there anything else that you guys need to be able to get this application approved from my end?
Right. That's all you
And
got
I
to
was
do.
so polite to those underwriters, and they all started to know my name. I even sent a few of them gifts. And guess what? I promise you, I got my stuff approved pretty darn quick. And like some people are amazed. It's like, dude, you wrote that and you got it approved in like 72 hours. I was like, yep, because they know my name. And I promise you, I knew their names. Some of them I knew their kids' names. Just a nice little tidbit, folks. People like grateful people, and people like people that are appreciative of them, right?
Yep.
And
Very true.
so, very true, right, Miss Tina? Speaking of appreciation, I just want a big shout out to all our key leaders, the Gillums, the Davises, Zarn, Martinez, Neubauer, Carujo, for precious gift. Didn't they get you something this past week, so like a big old fire pit or something? What they get
They
you?
did, and it was awesome. And we enjoyed it all weekend. We made
Yeah.
s'mores last night.
Well, I've seen some pictures of it, girl, and that thing is awesome. So thank you,
It is
Keith.
awesome, and I appreciate it.
You know, part of the theme for growing organization, something I've always noticed is, man, how grateful is an organization? And that is a grateful organization because Miss Tina certainly goes above and beyond for all of us here at Symmetry Financial. And if you've worked here 5 minutes, you realize how awesome this lady is. And thank you, key leaders. Thank you, Jordan Gillum, because I know you're a big part of that right there. And I appreciate your gratefulness to that. And it means a lot to all of us, right? So thank
Yes.
y'all very much. Any others, Tina's tips?
That's all I got.
2 weeks left in the big month. I'm going to say that, guys. 2 weeks left, big month. We got 5 weeks in this month. If you're going for a raise, anything else, we set an all-time record in the month of September in personal production. Congratulations to all you guys out there. We're going to set an all-new record. If we just a little bit more the next 2 weeks, we'll set an all-time record for the month of October. So let's go out there. Let's get it. Let's hit it big. Remember, we have a contest, a daily contest going on. Miss Tina is working hard every day, getting all the results from the key leaders. She'll be promoting that out there today. If you're out there, it's an activity thing. You can win $50 a day. I think my man Jeff Miller, how much did he win? He's probably already won like $200 or $300. It seems like, just because he goes out there and does activity, right? You know, Tina, if you'll do this on a news and note, if you'll put the contest points out there on GroupMe today, if you'll go ahead and put that back out there for me at some point. But guys, just know it's an activity contest. It's just we're wanting to see who's willing to go out there and make it happen. And if you are, we're going to reward you for it. And then if you win on the winning team at the end of the week, we're going to have an additional 125, 75, or $50 in additional league cash, which we can turn into thousands of dollars for you and your family while taking care of other families. So win, win, win for all people. So proud of everybody who's been going out there making it happen. Reminder, new agent fast track. This is just something I wanted to cover under news and notes, guys. If you're a leader out there or you're just starting, if you're a leader, have your people know about this. If you're just starting, you got to know about this. It's the fast track bonus and carrier kickers. I'm going to cover it real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but just know you should be talking about it. I just encourage everybody. Fast track bonus for the 30-day sprint. You get $1,000 bonus just for doing this. And here, all it is submit 20,000 in your first 30 days. It starts when you submit your first business, and all you got to do is 13,000 of it you got to place in your first 30 days. That's all you got to do. Hey, it's all you got to do, and you get $1,000 bonus. I bet you anything for most of you that would cover most of your lead costs for that month. You with me? But I'm telling you guys that you can get it if you do that for the first 90 days. If you just simply repeat month one for the first 90 days, you win an all expenses paid trip to Costa Rica next year for you and a guest. Hey, I'm telling you, that's good stuff. The hat trick, I'm not going to get into the other stuff. We'll just say this. If you do 15,000 net place in the first 90 days with one of the following carriers, Americo, Mutual of Omaha, Foresters, or American Amicable, you also get $1,000 each carrier you do that with. Each carrier. So that's an additional $5,000 that you can get, $1,000 per carrier. If you have 3 of those, you get an additional $5,000 bonus. I'm just telling you guys, lots of stuff up there. Just make sure you know that, make sure you're aware of it, make sure you're reading it. One of the things that I did when I first started, I had little bonus structures like this. I printed them out, and I was a little geek. I put it up on my thing. Like some of you are smart enough to put it on a computer, but I killed a lot of trees in my days, and I'd put it up here on the wall, and I would sit there, and every day I'd just be like, all right, got another no. Okay. Yep, that's what I'm doing it for. Need that. Yeah, got to go make it happen for me and my family. And I just kept that in front of me, and it kept me going. It's just those little things. That was for me. I'm not saying that's it for you, but for me, it was huge. And so I just say keep that in the forefront of you guys' mind, because I think that'll be huge. I think it'd be huge for you. So anyway, all righty. Well, I appreciate you guys there. I'm going to go over some more stuff here in a minute. Don't get me wrong. I got some other good nuggets for you guys coming up, but I want to go over to Book of the Month. I think I got my compadre in arms here. Jordan, you out there? Either you're muted. Give me sign language. Well, I got that. Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs down. I've got you unmuted on my end, so I know it's not me.
Can you guys hear me now?
I got you now.
Hey, okay. Sorry, I
Like
have no idea what happened with that, to be honest.
No, it's okay. Normally I'm breaking out in a sweat realizing it's me, but this one, hey, it was not me. So
No.
I'm more happy about that. So
Yeah, no, I'm fired up today. I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys, just those leaderboard numbers and everyone stepping up, during
Yeah.
this really hard time that we've all been coming through together. It's really
Yep.
awesome to see us coming on the other side of it together. But I'm excited because it's Book of the Month and I'm not covering it today.
I know, I like
I'm
that.
so excited. Well, not because I don't like doing it. It's just I like to see, that rippling effect of
Yep.
personal development. And I honestly couldn't have asked for, my favorite person. Not trying to be biased or anything, but when you guys were 21, what were you doing in your life, right? Like, what were you thinking about? What were you doing? And we have one of the youngest people, other than Elijah.
Yeah.
She's in college. She's working this part-time. She's quite new. But one of the things I love the most about her is that she is one of the best students that I have ever had the privilege of coaching. And I'm so excited to listen to hear what Miss Alyssa Trapani, she's out of Clearwater, Florida. Alyssa, how long have you been a part of Symmetry part-time?
Gosh, I think it's been about 2 months now.
2 months, yes. So
Yeah.
she's brand new, but she's plugged in, and she's reading. She's always calling me. We FaceTime probably once a day. I feel like it's a sister that I've never met before, like in person, but she and I were real close. And I'm really excited to hear about what you took from the Book of the Month. And I know we got to keep it brief because we got a lot to cover with Chris today. So you take it away, Alyssa, and I'm excited to hear what you got.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I was super nervous and excited when Jordan asked me to do this, but I'm just so grateful to be a part of such a great team, and everyone has been so welcoming and so great. So thank you so much. So let's get started. Something I really love about this Book of the Month is that not only does it talk about new ideas and concepts that we can implement, but it also really just reaffirms the system that Symmetry has put in place for us. Especially something called herd immunity, which I wasn't super aware for before, but Jordan had talked to it about me the night before my first appointment. And I never realized how important it was until she really explained it to me. But it's just all about making sure that no one feels like they're a loner. Everyone wants to feel a part of the group, and no one wants to feel like an outlier. And we don't want them to feel like they've either done something wrong or like they're different from everyone else. And so a really good way that the book talked about to combat that is by using the phrase everyone else. And I thought that was just such a good and simple way to implement that, because let's say there is someone that we don't know if we can get coverage for, and let's say they are in a really difficult situation, but what we can do is just let them know, hey, what everyone else is doing is this. So they know that they're not alone. They have a group that they're a part of, and they don't have to be nervous that they've done something wrong. Another thing that I really liked is asking instead of telling. I think that is a super important part of the book. Obviously, question-based selling is kind of self-explanatory, but we can just tell them all we want about how great the policy is, how great symmetry is, but we can do that, but we're all human and it's easy to miss some important information, or it's easy to let your mind wander and forget what someone said. And then before you know it, they're hanging up on you and you don't know what to do. But what you can do is you can just ask them questions. We can't come up with a solution for them until we actually find out what their needs are. And something I just wanted to share quickly is the different types of questions that you can ask. And this is what I learned from my current advanced sales class. So I thought I would share that with you all a little bit too. So the problem questions, asking, okay, what is it, or are you struggling to protect your family? Are you having a lot of stress? Are you losing sleep? That's a problem question. An implication question, showing how if the solution isn't found, how is this going to hurt you? So in other words, if we were talking to a client, so we could ask, if you don't find a policy that's going to protect your family, how is this going to affect you? Is it going to make you stressed? Are you going to be worried? And third and final type of question, the need payoff question. So a need payoff question would be, okay, well, if I were to find a policy for you that takes that stress off, that protects your family, so you don't have to worry about them having to pay that mortgage, how would that help you? How would that make you feel better and take that stress off of your shoulders? So I think that's another really important thing that the book talks about, is just asking instead of telling. Don't assume anything. Just ask to make sure you understand everything. And something I found interesting was right before I came to Symmetry, I was a part of another sales job. But they actually encouraged the opposite. They said, don't ask, like assume. And I was like, that seems a little off, but okay. But I think, yeah, that's the reason it didn't really work out over there. So I'm glad I came over here. It's so important because it also builds that credibility too. We just want to ask not only the simple questions, but the hard questions that really makes them think, because we want to spike that curiosity, because no one has come up to these people and said, oh, well, what if you died tomorrow? What would happen to your family? That's not an easy question to ask, but it's a question that we do have to ask, because once we ask those hard questions and get those answers, then we can really tailor a policy to their needs and to really help their family. Also, the last thing I wanted to talk about really quickly was just spiking that curiosity in them. Because any salesperson that calls, the first thing they're going to want to do is hang up. But something that you can do to just a really simple way to spike their interest is just asking, hey, can I ask you a question? And that was something that the book talked about. And I thought that was another just such a simple way to increase your chance of like having them stay on the phone with you, talk to you, because obviously you're not going to make them all, you're not going to make every sale, but it's all about just those little tiny grains of salt that increase your chance of making that relationship with them and making them trust you. Yeah, those are the main things I talked about. I hope I didn't go too short or too long or
No,
anything.
you did perfect. You did perfect. And Alyssa, I want to thank you for that. And I want to kind of just remind you guys, she is 21 years old. She's starting her own business. You know, she's got a great support system at home. And I mean, I just wish I was in your shoes when I was 21 years old. I was bartending, and look at you. So I'm super excited to see where you head with this. And thank you so much for your wisdom. We'll pass it back on to you, Chris. Oh, Chris, you're still muted, just to let you know. You're still muted. This one's your fault, by the way.
All right. Am I
There you
back
go.
now?
Yes, let's just
All
move.
right. Yeah. I was sitting there already doing my talking and realized that I had muted myself out. So awesome. No, I love that, Alyssa. You know, the herd mentality. You know, I was taught that years ago because, as we all know, question-based selling. I read this book for the first time, I think 12 years ago, Alyssa, when I first got in this industry. And it was just so important to me. And I love the herd mentality because it's something that once I heard that, I was like, man, I've really got to apply that in the home. And I didn't realize I was doing it, but I started making my clients feel way more comfortable with what they were doing, Alyssa. When I was in the home, I'd be like, well, Alyssa, what a lot of my clients like to do is this in your case. You with me? And, and that brought that herd mentality because that gave them comfort that a lot of people was doing the same thing. And that's how I correlated some of the part of the mentality and the psychology of this book. Everyone else does it. And then guess what? People want to do it as well. Asking instead of telling. I love that you brought up that point. That's such a beautiful point because people, here's the reason that point is beautiful. People love to buy, hate to be sold. People love to buy, hate to be sold. So if you've learned anything on today's call, people love to buy. They love to buy things. They hate to be sold. Have you ever, well, I don't really want to deal with that person. He's a salesperson. I don't want to deal with her. She's a slick salesperson, right? But if you ask questions, that takes you out of that role. Because what questions do for you, it helps you understand how to help them. And once you do that, team, you'll no longer be a salesperson here. You'll actually enter another realm. You're like, I'm not even making sales anymore. I'm just helping people. And you start using different terminology, and you'll start each and every week. Like, if you want to know a person I think really exudes that, it's Elijah Carujo. It's like, he's 23 years old, right? And he gets it. He realizes that he's not helping people from a lead and trying to sell them insurance. He's asking them questions and then determining which one he's going to help them with. You with me? And that's how you do those type of things, right? And then with another thing, putting the correct activity into it, because remember, if you got somebody doing X amount of appointments and somebody doing less amount of appointments, typically it's going to be in the favor of the person that runs more appointments, right? So realize the proper activity team takes place there. Thank you so much, Alyssa. That was a beautiful breakdown. I appreciate you, buddy. So, hey, I hope you guys are reading that book, because if you are, it will help you help people. It's question-based selling. I'm telling you, read it for the first time many years ago, and it changed my business career. It helped me write a ton of applications out in the field, helping a ton of families. So beautiful stuff there. I hope everybody can still hear me and I've not muted myself out. So we'll see. Tina, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that one. So good. Well, cool. I want to get into just now, a few weeks ago, we all, well, not all of us, because all of us didn't know, we lost a dear friend, and it's been tough. It's not been easy. Dear friend, business partner, just somebody that I thought the world of, and I think it's been tough for a lot of our leadership team, because we've been going through stuff together, because we'd all become really close over the past couple of months, and so it is what it is. But just wanted to get into it. Grant Reynolds, for some of you brand new agents, he passed away about 3 weeks ago. He was a part of our agency for about 2.5 years. I'd met him 2.5 years ago. How I met Grant, baby Grant, as me and Tina called him here at the office, because he was 22 years old when he started with us. How I met him, I was doing STP for somehow, Tina, and I know you'd set the appointment, I believe. I think you'd set the interview for a job in Charleston, South Carolina, and this guy from Virginia Beach answers the phone. And I'm like, why am I talking to somebody in Virginia Beach? I'm trying to hire somebody in Charleston, South Carolina. And he was working for the Christian Broadcasting Network. He was making $73,000 a year as a 22-year-old working at the Christian Broadcasting Network. And we just started talking. We started talking about John Maxwell, and one thing led to another. 2 weeks later, he came to our national conference. And from the moment I met him, I was in awe of who he was, how charismatic a 22-year-old was, and just the dynamics of just who he was as an individual. And I have been really for the past 2.5 years. His group last month did 87,000. That was their all-time record in the month of September. And I know they've challenged themselves to be above that this month. His love for people, I've never seen anybody just love people. He loved everybody. Like, it didn't matter. You could be the number one on leaderboards, the lowest one. He didn't care about that. He loved people. And that was such an attribute to him, and grateful. You know, me and Tina would, different weeks, we'd get a call every now and then, or me and Lauren would get a call every now and then. It'd be at 6 o'clock at night or 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Every now and then he'd just reach out and he'd say, "Hey, I just want you to know," you know how he says that, right, Tina? "I just want you to know, I'm thankful for you today. That's all. That's all I got. Have a great day." You know, and it meant the world to all of us. And so I hope you know, Grant, excuse me, just how very thankful and grateful we were for our time together, because it was special, buddy. And it was really special. So anyway, I wrote something the other night. I was flying back from Wyoming, had my 10-year-old son in my lap, and I was just thinking, and I thought I would share it with you guys because it's remarkable. You know, the relationships matter. People come first. You know, that's it's one of our core values here at Symmetry Financial, right? And I was sitting there, Reese was on my lap, he was falling asleep, and God knows it was near midnight. We were flying back home from Wyoming. By the way, if you ever get a chance to go to Yellowstone over in Wyoming, Montana, all of you should go. It's the most beautiful place in the world that I've ever seen. And I thank God that I had the opportunity to take my family there this past week. And I hope all of you, at some point in your life, you get to do that as well. I just highly recommend it. I saw a grizzly bear. It was awesome. So I saw a lot of cool things, but it was just my little tribute to Grant. And I'll read it to you guys. And I'll get into some more training here in a minute, but I think this speaks to it. So Grant J. Reynolds, I love you, man. And I'm going to miss our talks. I'm going to miss having a front row seat to what I believed was going to be one of the greatest success stories ever written. You see, since the day I met you, I was in awe of who you could be. Your purity of love for people, the man I was witnessing you becoming. I was so excited about the future with you in it. It was weird. Going through the struggles and growing pains of building a business, I was never more confident. The reason was simple. Grant Reynolds was with us. I was excited about my two boys and you being a part of their life, getting a chance to help mentor them. You asked me one time, Grant, how I felt about you, and was it just business? I simply replied with, I was going to ask you to baptize Noah. Noah, for some of you who don't understand, is my younger son. He's 8 years old. And so just context there, because y'all be like, well, who's Noah? You called me a mentor, friend, and a business partner. I know you had pain from your past. I'm sorry I couldn't help heal you better. I'm going to miss you so much. I promise to never forget you and help take the World Foundation in your honor and legacy to a new level. Till we meet again, my brother. Love, your friend Chris. So with that being said, one of the things, certainly we've made a donation to the Take the World Foundation. That's something his father has started in his honor. And we're going to continue to contribute that throughout the rest of our lives. And also for any of you that knew Grant, had any value or anything like that, or as you grow your businesses, you grow your influence, you also will have that opportunity to donate to that cause. We'll make it live if we can. We'll either email it out to people if they ever feel the need to, remember that contribution is going to go to change that foundation, what different things they support. We'll be getting that information out to all of you. His father is going to get that information over to us. So just wanted to share that stuff. That's coming from my heart. Just love my boy. You know what I mean? So don't miss him. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that right now. So, all right, now going to get into some training here and some stuff that we think will help make an impact in y'all's business, right? And to be able to go out there and do it. And remember though, always remember what we just taught you though. Relationships matter. People come first, right? You got that down. Rest of it will sort of fill in, right? So, all right, Tina, you're probably nervous for me because she realized I'm going to attempt something that I rarely do because I'm not generally very good at it, but I'm going to screen share here. And this is going to be hopefully not a daunting task for me. All right, so what I wanted to go over with all you fine folks out there was really something that I go over with all brand new agents, but I just want to take a re-emphasis of this to all of you, because I think if we do this, all right, let's do this. Can you see that, Betsy? All right, you can see that action metrics. Oh. Woo, woo. All right, so I did it right. All right, so, and I'm going to share this with you guys because if you want to know what it takes to be successful here, this is something that we do as a leadership checklist here with all of our brand new agents. And I pray all of you key leaders are doing it. And if you're not, start doing this because I believe this will make a difference in a lot of people's lives and will help more people achieve greater things here at Symmetry. But I just want to go through these real quick, real brief as a reminder of what really it takes initially to get started here at Symmetry and get started correctly. You know, we always talk about massive action, constant correction. Well, action metrics for massive action when starting out, what we recommend, if you guys see this here, is dials, $400 to $600 a week minimum. What a dial is every time you pick up the phone and you make a dial, that's a dial. It doesn't mean you spoke to a person. Some people have interpreted that that's 400 to 600 people a week. No, I promise you, it's not. Now, massive action, constant correction, as you're making these dials, typically what we recommend every 5 contacts, getting an appointment or not getting an appointment, we highly recommend that you counsel with a new agent mentor or your direct upline on how to get better at what we're doing. So this is something else we recommend, appointments in person. If you run appointments in person, we say 12 to 15 sets per week. Most of our agency, about 99% of our agency, is not doing appointments in person. So what we're saying there for that type is just remember, you probably want to average more. If you're doing appointments, telesales, virtual, needed 17 to 20 appointments a week. If they're all Zoom session, I recommend a good point there to be 15 appointments a week. So just sharing that with you folks. If you're teaching people how to be successful here and they're running 6 appointments a week, Zoom sessions, they're probably not going to be successful here at Symmetry Financial. If you're part-time, a good rule of thumb is 8 appointments a week, Zoom sessions. If you're full-time, we recommend at least 15 plus. And so you start with that metric and you realize, so if you're out there and you're hearing my voice today and we care about you, so we're teaching this stuff up front. If you want to be successful here and create income that you said, we all said was possible when you come here, just realize that 15 Zoom session appointments a week is the minimum you need to be sitting in front of to make it happen here. And typically it's a resource or an activity thing that you're lacking in that. So always massive action, constantly correct to do that. Grant was a great example of that. I think he made 745 dials his first week and he sucked. He would tell you he was horrible. And he made like 1 appointment and he called me 4 or 5 times a day and asked questions. And I loved it. And I loved him for it. And your mentor wants you to ask questions. So if you're brand new, don't think if you have a new agent mentor assigned to you, your job is to call them and ask questions. Now, sometimes they're not going to give you the answer. Sometimes they're going to do exactly what I did for Grant. I'm going to teach him where I found the answer because our philosophy is that not to give you a fish because we only feed you for a day. is to teach you how to fish. That way we feed you for a lifetime. Okay. So understand that also is a philosophy of our company. We may just show you where to find the answer. Don't get frustrated with that. Know where to go get that answer, go get it. And now guess what? You can teach other people to fish as well. So that's my takeaway from this page. Next thing, key ingredient though. You guys got to remember that stuff. That's good stuff. Next one is, which one I want to cover next? All right, next one I want to cover here, and you guys will like this one. Cheat sheet for setting appointments. All you guys got to look at this one. This one's going to be a good one for you. It's coming up. Boom. Betsy, give me the okay. We're good? Betsy gave me the okay, so we're good. All right, so quick guide for leads to appointments to applications. So if you don't have this, because I think somebody had posted on GroupMe, they're like, oh, I've never seen this stuff before. Hey guys, we should be covering this with all of our brand new agents the day they start, before they ever order their first set of leads. This form should be going over with everyone, because this gave me such a comfort of me going out in the field. I understood the metrics. Also, it took away some mental stuff in my head. It's like, man, am I getting the right results? I called 5 people. I got 5 no's. And this right here helped me to know what the metrics was. So dialing for appointments. Does everybody see my cursor going over here? 5A leads. Every 3 to 4 no's equals 1 yes. 4A leads. It's okay. You got 12 no's, 2 appointments. You're right in line. Don't beat yourself up. Just realize you're right in line, and realize it's just the number of appointments. So dialing for appointments. If you're working 50-cent leads and you've talked to 30 people and you got 3 appointments, you're okay. It says 10 to 12 no's to equal 1 yes. You're absolutely fine. And it's highly profitable doing that. When I first started out, a lot of people always ask me, well, Chris, what do you recommend? I actually worked the 3A down to 50-cent leads. I wrote $42,000 in premium in my first 6 weeks here at Symmetry Financial. Had to. This was my only source of income. I had 2 kids, a wife, and I didn't have another option. I'll be frank and honest with you. But 3A down to 50-cent leads is what I started out on. Get with your new agent mentor and have them recommend what you should start out on. But realize, I just knew I had to make a bunch of dials. But if I made a bunch of dials, I was going to get plenty of no's. But also I was going to get plenty of yeses if I just went through that process. It's the same process I taught Grant. Leads to appointments. This is this is leads to applications. Sorry, so this would be leads to applications is how I'd refer to this. We're going to look at the 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A, and 50-cent leads. Realize this, guys. If you're out there running 5A leads, every 20 of those, you should average, as long as you get a yes or a no from every one of those, in the neighborhood of 2 to 4 applications. Now, you have to get a correct yes or a no. So make sure that you're getting a correct yes or a no. You can check with your direct upline, your new agent mentor on that process. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to see these numbers come to fruition. It's the same reason that every week, and Betsy, you probably know this, it's almost the same leaderboards every week. Right? It's fairly stable because the people that are on our leaderboards understand these metrics and they play these metrics at a high level. So if you want to be on our leaderboard, all you got to do is understand these 2 quadrants right here and apply these 2 quadrants. It's like me and Betsy talked like 6 weeks ago, and I was like, well, if you're doing DFL, you need to run 10 appointments a week. Remember? It's so funny. And then it's like, and Mark Neubauer told her about consistently, and she's like, oh, all I got to do is that each week. It's like, yep, all you got to do is that each week, and the result will come. Some weeks will be less, some weeks will be way more. But if you do this consistently over time, we're telling you these results happen. And the reason I know these results happen, these are the same stuff that I followed for 16 years in this business. Over 2 companies, same results, okay? And I'm just telling you, this right here, you got to know these numbers. So don't beat yourself up, though. Here's a pitfall that I'll share with a lot of you. A lot of you will have a brand new agent start, and they don't know the metrics of a 3A or a 4A. They take 44 A leads. They call 18 of them. They get 18 no's. They don't counsel with anybody and they quit. It's because they're not keeping their mind right over the consistency of getting 40 yes or no's. Because if they do, they're going to average 2 to 4 applications. And if you do the math, you're killing it income wise with that right there. It's the reason Elijah Carujo, guys, last month deposited, he's 23 and he deposited over $21,000 in his bank account last month alone. He's 23 years old. Y'all with me? So because he knows these metrics, and a lot of people don't realize this, Elijah's our #1 producer. And a lot of people think, oh, he gets all the A leads. True, he stepped up recently in A leads, but for the majority of the year, folks, he ran nothing but bonus leads. A lot of people do not realize that. So just want to share those little factoids with you. But I'm telling you, that's going to add so much value to your guys' life if you go out there and you do this. If you don't have this stuff, make sure you get the key leader today and make sure you have this sheet. This is one of those sheets I had printed out in front of me. So, all right, I got another quick sheet for you. My screen sharing skills are put to the test today. I like it. Next thing, you're like, man, now I've got my appointments booked. What do I do next? Like, what's the next step? I don't know how to run an appointment. I don't know where to go. There's 4,000 things to choose from. Right, there is. That's the reason we had Underwriting Made Simple already printed out for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share that with you. And guys, it's as simple as this. A lot of people ask, how did I write 42,000 in my first 6 weeks? Well, it was simple. I kept it simple. Underwriting Made Simple, Tier 1. If they were healthy enough to qualify for AMAM Home Certainty, I didn't write another product. I didn't have Mutual of Omaha because of an agreement with my other company. I couldn't write them for my first 6 months here. So AMAM Home Certainty is what I wrote. So as long as they were healthy enough and age-wise they fit in that criteria, all I wrote was AMAM Home Certainty. That's your Tier 1 product. You with me? It's that simple, folks. I didn't need a virtual mentor or anything else to complicate things for me and put me on 5 different companies. That's what I wrote if you were looking for mortgage protection. If you didn't qualify for that, that's when I counseled upline and see if there was any niche thing. But here'd be a good guide. I wouldn't start out with Mutual of Omaha until about 18 days later because Miss Tina and everybody working on getting you contracted, you will be able to add them to your portfolio. That's the reason you see them listed there. That's how simple that can be. Tier 2. Hey, Tier 2 is simply the people that don't qualify for the Tier 1 products. From a health standpoint, that's the people that I would tier down to Tier 2 from a health standpoint or an age standpoint. And I would go AMAM Dignity Solutions or Mutual of Omaha Living Promise. Obviously, if you're not contracting Mutual of Omaha Mutual of Omaha, you start out with Dignity Solutions. That's exactly what I wrote because I couldn't write the other. And I'm telling you guys, it really helped me be profitable, help a lot of people. A lot of that is a critical period time concept, which you can get more details from that from your upline or your new agent mentor. Tier 3, what do you think that was? It's simply the people that couldn't qualify for Tier 1 or Tier 2. And when I first started, I was only contracted with Gerber. I started there. As soon as I got contracted with AIG, I started writing AIG. What's the difference between those 2 companies, you ask? Both great companies. Gerber only paid me as earned, AIG advanced commission. So obviously, if I was going to help a family with a product, I would rather help them with a thing if it were the same product with one that actually gave us more income up front, because one of the rules in business is to stay in business, right? So you got to be able to stay in business. So you're going to start out with Gerber, but as soon as you new agent mentor or you see that you're approved with AIG, you'll switch over and start writing AIG after that. Good piece of advice, keeps you good and profitable and keeps you in business and allows you to help more families, because if you're out of business, you can't help more families, right? So just realize that stuff. Last thing I'm going to cover, and that's, hey, key leaders out there that want to be agency owners. These are key things that you start your team out with. And as long as we're all in that same step, I'm telling you, it's going to change everybody's life. So and a lot of you maybe already be doing this. So if you are, kudos to you. Just want to make sure everybody here knows this stuff. All right, last thing here. I'm going to share with you guys leadership to-do list. Betsy, I get thumbs up. All right, good deal. So my skills have become stronger. Channeling my inner Grant J. Reynolds today. So, all right, so this right here is your leadership to-do list. When do I do this, you ask? When my agent is already got their other primary checklist done, I go over this with my brand new agent because it's a leadership thing that I want to cover with them. I'm going to go over, provide a conference call schedule. I'm going to talk about the importance of it. I'm going to talk about how if they don't do it, they're not going to make it here, because I got nobody in my organization that currently makes it. Like me and Tina, we had somebody that called us last week and they resigned, and it's like, well, you never actually started because you never got on a Zoom session. You never took notes or anything. So you're okay. You know what I mean? Because you never did anything we would need you to do for you to be successful here. And we want you to know that up front. It's like, we're going to provide you a conference call schedule. Your job, if you're wanting to be successful here, is to be on them, take notes, and apply what you've learned. Another thing that I cover with brand new people, I'm going to look at this down here. I go over a lead budget. In other words, I ask them what they're looking to do from this goals in writing part. In other words, if I'm talking to a Betsy Barr, Betsy, what are you looking to get out of this? And she tells me what I'm looking to get out of it. I'll say, well, do you have any of this stuff in writing? I always want to work with people that have it in writing because it helps it visual to them. And I like having a copy of that to me because it gives me an idea of how to go over a lead budget and help that person achieve that. Because if I don't ask them questions, I don't know how to help them. And one of the goals in writing, what's their goals? It helps me help them achieve that going over the lead budget. Leads to applications. You guys just saw that page that we shared with you, contacts to appointments. We just shared that. That takes a lot of frustration out of your new agents that you've covered that, you've went over it with them. First app on self. I love covering the benefits here. It's like Betsy's here in my office, so I feel like I'm having a one-on-one conversation with Betsy. Y'all are just listening in. But I love covering that. And the reason I love covering that is because it helps that new agent an appreciation for what we do for families. First app on self. And the benefit here is we can do through Americo $250,000 first year free. So you can go write a policy on yourself. It'd be 100% free to you, nothing out of pocket, but you have coverage for your family in case something happens to you. And you're going to be sitting there one night, and this is going to happen, I promise you, because it happened to me. And they're like, well, Chris, this all sounds good. What do you have for your family? And me, because I wrote stuff on me, I'm like, well, for this actually takes care of my home in case this goes tax-free to my wife. And then if something happens to both of us, it goes over to Reese and Noah. That's my two little kids. And then this takes care of my loss of income, which I show in my other policy. You with me? It's credibility in what we do. And I'm telling you, it's not something you have to tell them. It's something they can sense in your confidence of what you're doing. So just want you to know that. Next one, add to GroupMe after they download the app. I'm not big on adding people to GroupMe first second I meet them. I'm not. I mean, that's just a personal preference. You may have a different preference. You may see a different value to them. I put them to GroupMe typically after they've either shown more interest, actually plugging into all other things, and then they want to, then I add them to GroupMe. Keep in mind, everybody's a little individual. How I use GroupMe, it's an information tool. It's not a training tool. It's a training tool in a sense that I can help others or use other leaders to help build my organization, and they in turn can use me to help build their organization. How can they do that? Well, two ways. One way is Val Zarn may be hosting a dial session in California, helping out a Gillum organization, right? I may be hosting an STP session here in Knoxville on how to build a business here, and I can help out Gillum and Zarn. Y'all with me? So that's a great way to use it. It's not a great one for, if you have specific questions, it's not a great one to go ask on the forum and then go do it. Just call your growing up line or your new agent mentor, ask them on there. Just a good way to use it. It's a good way to disseminate information. It's a good way to use those different things. Get E&O coverage. I love and care about the people I'm in business. I teach them to get Arizona Mission Insurance because I care about their family's financial security. And they should have it because errors in emission insurance protects them from people that can be over litigious out there in the world. And I don't know if you guys have been in the world very long, but people can be very litigious out there and they can claim different things. That protects you and your family's assets. That's why I teach every agent to have it, because we care about them. Project 100, and most companies require it now too. So just a sidebar. Project 100. Well, let's see if you think this is important. It's one of the first things. This is one of the sheets that I was going over when I talked to Grant Reynolds first time. And sure enough, he shows up at conference with his buddy Jesse. Jesse, he didn't come here, he didn't work out, but he was a great guy. I even got to hug his neck a couple of weeks ago up there at Grant's funeral. But I also got to see a guy that from Project 100, and this is how amazing this business is. From that Project 100, which was number 10 on Grant's list, where Grant had went and presented to his person that was working with him over there at the Christian Broadcasting Network. His name was Elijah Cruho. And I got to see those two guys grow a beautiful friendship. And Elijah spoke at Grant's funeral. That's how powerful his family thought about him. And that was just 2.5 years ago those guys met. And it was a part of a Project 100. Do you think Grant changed Elijah's life? It's a question. What do you think? Book of the month. Project 100 is simply you putting down a list of people you know and you just checking interest. That's all you're doing. You're seeing if they're in the job market. So I'll talk about Project 100 real quick because I think this is invaluable to you guys. Invaluable because you are going to change people's lives if you do this, do it correctly. So Project 100 is, are you interested in making extra money in addition to what you're currently doing? It's checking with 100 people that you know. You can send them, I got this, I took these notes, this is something you can send them the 2 videos that we use after we interview somebody through ZipRecruiter. And then you can schedule a follow-up, 15-minute follow-up. You can do a 3-way call with your new agent mentor, myself. Love helping people get in this business because this business has changed my life. And really, you're only wanting to do business with the people the videos resonate with. You're not wanting to call people and talk people into this. That's a headache. That's just a future headache. That's not our job. We're not looking to talk people into it. And realize this, Grant Reynolds is a quality person. Well, guess what? Quality people know quality people. And that's what you're looking for. What you talk about, you attract. And I was looking for a locomotive, as my buddy Danny Young says, not just another rail car. I was looking for somebody to pull the rail cars. And I was fortunate enough to find that. And he found another locomotive in Elijah Cruho. And so just realize you can change somebody's life with that Project 100, folks, and it can be something. Couple of notes that I took from what Danny was saying, but I just want to share it with you guys. What's some reasons? Why would you want to recruit? The business works when you don't. I remember first starting and thinking, man, I had a tough day in the field today. It wasn't exactly great. I got one app for like 400 APV. I helped the family. Certainly that was great. But I was like, man, gas and leads. I don't know if I even made profit today. But then I'd get a text from Jason Marino or Jonathan, and they'd wrote 3,000 that day, or Jason wrote 5,000. And I realized because I was going out and sharing the plan and wasn't selfish with the plan, that I found other people that are doing it with me. And so on my bad days, I was making $750 to $1,000 a day because I wasn't selfish enough not to share the business. That makes sense? And it really helped me through times of figuring out if I could do it or not. In Symmetry's highest income earners, Betsy, I want you to think about this. Jordan, I want you to think about this. Val, I want you to think about this. Leaders out there, I want you to think about this. And people that are just starting with us, think about what I'm getting ready to say. See how far down the list you got to go to find a person in income here at Symmetry Financial, to find a person that just personally produces and doesn't build a business. Y'all with me? Like, see how far down that list you got to go. Up top people in our company. to find a person that just produces, because they understand that if individual success is good, group success is better. And because it's the only way, as my friend Danny Young said, only way to make big money here is to go out and build a team. You can make great money. You can make $200,000. You can make $250,000 a year if you're out there on your own pen. You can, absolutely. I've seen people do it. Also, I've seen people make $500, $750, million, $2 million a year because they went out there and shared it with other people and they found people to do business with. That's life-changing. What could you do for a Take the World Foundation when you're making that? What could you do for the foundations that are near and dear to your heart? See, it's not just about the money. It's not just about material things. It's what you can do with those things and those things that you can do with your family. I'm just saying, don't just think of it as that, because that's not what I mean by it. It's the only way to bulletproof your income. You know, he'd mentioned this, Danny had in the notes, and I just wanted to share it with you guys, and we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon, but it buys time with people you care about. And I think about that with Grant. It bought me time with Grant Reynolds. He was somebody I cared about, and I'm so happy and glad that we taught him to build a business and not just go out there and be a personal producer. That would have been a selfish thing. It buys time with the people you care about, because it buys time for them in this business. Because a bad day will take an individual producer out of this business. They'll go home, they'll tell their spouse, and their spouse will say, don't do it, it's not worth it. But if they have an Elijah Carujo on their team and he's out writing $20,000 a month, they're like, hold on. I think I got to figure out what I got to get right. I'm just saying. Also, it gives them a chance to inherit that business and stay in their family forever. So Project 100 is near and dear to my heart because I've seen lives it can change. So understand that. Book of the month. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't change two things in my life. It's the people I associated with and the books I read. People I associated with was very important, because the people I used to associate with more often were people that could tell me I couldn't do it, wondering how this thing, they always referred to it as this thing. How is it going to work out? It was a thing. Never was a job or a career. It was a thing, Betsy. That's the way they referred to it. And they still refer to it as a thing, even though they're, yeah, it just is what it is. But learn who you're hanging around the most. Are you hanging around people that can tell you can do this? Or are you hanging around people that tell you you can't? I chose to hang around with people that told me I could do it. And it changed my wife's life. She's not working a 9 to 5. She gets to concentrate on taking care of her boys. She gets to concentrate on making an itinerary for Yellowstone National. And my gosh, she did an amazing job with that. But that's her things that she gets to work at. She gets to work on making sure those boys' lives are full, right? And I love that. And book of the month, the books I read helped change that. It helped change a mindset from a broke mindset, from a fixed mindset to a mindset of growth, to a mindset of I could do it. Because I promise you, first thing my mom said to me years ago when I first got in this industry, why are you doing that? You need to quit that. That doesn't make any sense. Go back to that factory you've been working at. Go back to that cross dock, and if they offer you overtime, take it. And I would have died a little bit more each day inside. So sometimes the people that love you the most aren't necessarily going to give you the right advice because they haven't changed their mind. Realize that. Last thing on there, I think this is important as well, commission schedule. You guys see it down there. People got to know what they're getting paid. Okay. We got different structures for each policy. Make sure they have a commission schedule, or make sure they understand what they're getting paid. The average application is $550 an application. As long as they're submitting enough, that's what they're going to be making on average. I like to cover that. That's an advanced commission, but also realize each individual application, some will pay 5 or 10 points less. Some will pay 5 or 10 points more. You've got to pay attention to that, and don't let it be a surprise to your new agents. Put it on them to make sure they have it, but also make sure you're providing that and that availability to them. Keeps everything on the up and up. So I know I was long today. I've got other good stuff. I'm not going to get into it today. I pray that added value to all you guys, because that's what it was designed to do. You know, it's the same stuff I covered with Grant, baby Grant, I call him, 2.5 years ago, and it seemed to work out well. I just encourage all of you to do that with the people you care about, and make sure you cover it with them. Make sure you not just cover it, make sure you do it, right? You know what I mean? Make sure they do it. We can't make sure they do it. You just got to make sure you do your part and make sure they know that they can do it. So I appreciate all of you guys listening to a long-winded guy today. Probably cried on your shoulder a little bit, but hey, that's okay. Just means we care. All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.